Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Cool, Calm, Connected podcast, a quarterback's guide to life and peak performance, where we learn how to become the best version of ourselves together. I'm your host, James Brady, and you're listening to episode 2, Meditation. At the beginning of each episode, I like to take a second to invite us all to connect to our breath as an opportunity for us to become just a little bit more present, a little more grounded, a little more focused, a little bit more here now. I like to believe everything being shared on here is good, valuable, beneficial stuff. The more present we are, the more focused we are, the more grounded we are, the more relaxed we are, the more here we are with what's happening, the better we're going to be able to take that information and apply it to our lives. So whenever you're ready, I invite you to get your feet flat on the ground, wherever you're sitting. Pull your shoulders down and back, get your spine straight, chin up. We're just going to take 3 quick breaths together. It'll be a deep breath into the nose and a nice smooth exhale through the mouth. Into the nose, out through the mouth. Into the nose, out through the mouth. Into the nose, out through the mouth. That feels good. Next, I'd like to invite us all into tapping into gratitude together. It is something that I practice every single day, consistently throughout the day. Primary reason being, if we are able to genuinely be grateful for and appreciate what is already happening in our lives, what we are already experiencing, who we already are, what we already have, by being able to focus on what already exists and the positive things about them, we're going to be able to enjoy them more, appreciate them more, and attract more of that into our lives. Gratitude is a very high vibrating frequency. It's an optimal state of consciousness that we want to be tapped into regularly and consistently. So if you'll take a moment to repeat after me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful. I am so appreciative. That is a mantra that I play on repeat in my head throughout the day, every single day, especially when I'm feeling a little bit off. I feel a little bit funky. My thoughts are going a little faster than I want in some directions I don't want. I simply notice it, and then I tap into gratitude. And almost instantly now, after practicing over time, I start to feel better. I feel more aligned. I feel more energized, more present, and a little more excited just to continue doing whatever it is that I'm doing. So a quick reminder of what the Cool, Calm, Connected podcast and project is all about. Especially for those it's your first time listening, welcome. Cool, Calm, Connected is all about creating a high flow lifestyle. Organizing our lives in such a way that makes it very easy to access flow state readily and consistently. We organize our lives in such a way that it makes it very simple to be present, to be able to be fully where we are doing whatever it is we're doing, so we can put our best in and get the most out. It's all things development. Psychology, spirituality, mindfulness, any and everything that goes into becoming a better version of you is what we discuss here on the podcast and in our entire project of Cool, Calm, Connected. So if becoming a better version of you is of some interest to you, you're in the right place. Welcome. I'm grateful you're here. So today's episode is titled Meditation. I've decided to discuss meditation in episode 2, early on in the project and the podcast, because of the power that I believe it holds and how pivotal it is to our growth and our development as human beings, as athletes, as performers in any field. Now, I first got introduced to meditation primarily because I was not well. It is a tool or an answer I found to quite literally heal myself. There was a period in my life where I was severely depressed. I was not in a good place mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And a lot of things I believe that I was in control of created that state of existence of not being well, in particular mentally. And I have no other way to say this than meditation quite literally saved my life. Now, a lot of us listening are most likely in a pretty good place. We're okay, right? We're okay mentally. We go through our lives, we're enjoying ourselves pretty well. We're performing pretty well. That's the case for a lot of us. So when I'm talking about this is a tool that healed me when I was sick, I want you to understand that you don't have to be sick to experience the benefits of this practice and any and all practices that will be shared. If you think of it, if there is something that has the power to heal someone who is not well, what can it do for us if we're already in a pretty good place? It will help us elevate. It will help us evolve. It will help us expand our capacity, our potential as a performer in any field. It will literally help us level up and become a better version of us. So whether you are in a place, you're a bit of a rut, you've been not well for a while, you're actually feeling pretty good. No matter what state you find yourself in, I want you to know that meditation is a tool that you can use to either heal yourself, kind of get back to equilibrium, or level up and continue to evolve. Now, diving into meditation, anytime I'm discussing meditation, I always like to begin with what meditation is not. Because it's my opinion that a lot of people, even if it's come into their awareness and they've even tried it, do not create a consistent practice and do not reap the benefits of practicing consistently, mainly because of their misconstrued, preconceived notions around the practice. And there's three in particular that I've experienced and that I've heard from plenty of people along the way that are not helpful. And I really believe that sometimes it's very helpful to know what we don't want, to know what things are not, to create what we do want, or what things actually are. So, the first misconstrued, preconceived notion that I think there's a bit of a stigma around meditation is that it's this spiritual woo-woo practice, that it's for bald men in long white robes sitting on top of mountaintops talking to God. Now, albeit that is a thing, that does exist, and meditation can be a very spiritual practice. And my opinion of that is creating the space to connect to the highest version of yourself, connecting to Source, God, the universe. It can be that, and it is that for some people. But for a lot of people, they just don't consider themselves spiritual beings, so it kind of turns them off. So first things first, what I want you to understand is meditation does not have to be this spiritual woo-woo thing. Can be, if that's what you're into. But for a lot of us listening, that's not relevant. So first things first, meditation is not just some spiritual woo-woo thing that's for bald men sitting on mountaintops. It's for any and everyone. Second, how we practice. A lot of people believe that the purpose of the practice is to clear the mind. Now, I've been meditating for 15 years, and it's still very challenging to, quote unquote, clear my mind. It is not something I experience frequently. And frankly, for most of us, it's not going to happen for quite some time, if ever. So now, because people think the purpose of the practice is to clear their mind, here's how it goes. Say, okay, I'm going to start meditating. They sit down, they put on a guided meditation, and now their thoughts are racing 1,000 miles an hour. And within seconds, they open their eyes and they tell themselves, I can't do this. I can't get my mind to stop racing. I can't meditate. So now they don't sit down, they don't practice consistently, and they miss the whole point. Because you have difficulty getting your mind to stop racing is the whole reason why you need to meditate. it's kind of ironic, and I always get a kick out of it. And I've heard it so many times from people over the years. I can't get my mind to stop racing. Good. That's the point. That's why we're going to practice. So if you're someone who has that preconceived notion, if you've tried meditation before and you quit or don't continue because you believe you need to clear your mind, I want you to know right here, right now, that is not the purpose of the practice. That is not what we are trying to do. And if you have awareness that you're having difficulty, quote unquote, clearing your mind, that's a great start to beginning meditation and a sign that meditation is exactly what you need. Lastly, something that I experienced that I know a lot of athletes in particular experience as well. As athletes, we work very hard at things, right? We are coached up on things. We are given cues. We are given direction. We do drills, all in the name of becoming better at the practice that we're doing. So I know for myself as a young athlete, whatever it is that I was doing, I wanted to be the best at it. I was conditioned to believe that if I put work in at something, I'm going to see results, I'm going to notice benefits, and the whole objective was to be good at it. Well, and that was something that created a big obstacle for me when I began my meditation journey. Looking back, it's funny to go over how this journey evolved for me. I started and stopped meditating more times than you could possibly imagine. It was something that I genuinely believed was good for me, but because I didn't notice progress right away, because I wasn't getting good at it, and because I wasn't aware that wasn't part of what's supposed to be happening, I would start and give up over and over and over again. I would meditate for a few days, and then I'm a few days in and realize my mind is going even faster than it was the first day I started doing this. This isn't working. I'm not going to do this anymore. What is pivotal for us to understand is that when we were practicing meditation, the purpose is not to get good at it. The purpose of the practice is to practice. The purpose of the practice is to practice. I've been meditating for 15 years, and there's still days when I sit down and my mind is going 100 miles an hour. Now, less so than it was. It's more active. It's not as crazy. But because I know that that's part of the deal, that's just more opportunity to practice, to get a stronger practice in, I get excited to sit down and work through that every time that does arise. So quick refreshers, meditation is not just a spiritual woo-woo thing. Okay? It is for anyone and everyone looking to better themselves. The goal of the practice is not to clear our minds. That is damn near impossible. And it is not something that we're working to get good at. So if these are some preconceived notions that you've had, I'm inviting you right now to let go of them all, and I'm going to give you some answers and some insights onto what meditation actually is, why we do it, how to do it, to create a consistent practice, to do the work to become a better version of you. Now, I'd imagine a lot of us listening are athletes or coaches or parents of athletes. And if you ask most people, they would agree that Michael Jordan is one of the best athletes to ever walk this earth in any sport, in any field, one of the highest performers of anybody to ever do what they do. Michael Jordan, basketball player, played for the Chicago Bulls, multiple NBA championships, back to back to back. The shoe brand, the whole thing, all the gold medals, highly regarded as one of the best athletes to ever walk this earth. Now, something that's very interesting about Michael Jordan, he didn't just work on his fundamentals. He didn't just work his technique. He didn't just work his conditioning, his strength in the gym, his speed. He didn't just work his body. The same way, if not more, that he trained his body and his physical skill sets, he worked on and trained his mind. Michael Jordan had a mindfulness coach. Michael Jordan had a meditation coach. This man's name was George Mumford, a man I consider a mentor of mine from a distance. Actually met him briefly once, haven't gotten to speak to him a lot in person, but I've read his books, I follow them on social media, and they have been profound in my own learning and development in the mindfulness field and how it relates to athletes and is relevant to athletes. A bit of a different tangent here. One of my favorite books of all time is called The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford. George Mumford was Michael Jordan's mindfulness coach. And for most of my life, into my mid-20s, I considered myself someone who didn't like to read. I didn't enjoy it. And a lot of young athletes that I work with are in the same boat. They're not readers. They don't enjoy it. They don't see the benefit of it. They don't like to do it. Now, what I've come to learn from my experience with reading is that it wasn't that I didn't enjoy reading, but for most of my life, I just hadn't found content that I enjoyed, that I was inspired by, that was relevant to me, that made me want to sit there and continue to read. The Mindful Athlete is a book that I have gifted to numerous athletes over the years, and it is one of the books that I give credit to sparking my interest and recognizing the benefits behind the practice of reading. If you're an athlete, a parent of an athlete, or a coach, I highly suggest the book The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford. It sparked my interest in this incredibly valuable habit and hobby, and it is something I encourage anyone that's working to better themselves to get into the habit of doing. Reading a little bit a day. So if you want to get into the habit of reading, highly recommend checking out The Mindful Athlete by George Mumford. Great storytelling, great tools, great knowledge, and a lot of very similar things that I'll be sharing on here. So we know now know one of the best athletes to ever walk this earth practice meditation regularly and consistently. And here's a few reasons why. Some of the benefits behind meditation. If we're going to practice something, we want to know, why are we doing this? What am I going to receive from this? How is this actually going to help me? So here are a few scientifically studied and proven benefits to how meditation actually affects and impacts us, how it helps us to become better. Meditation helps to reduce stress, anxiety, distraction, overthinking, all these low vibration emotions and thought patterns. Meditation helps reduce these things. Meditation enhances our ability to focus, our ability to be present, our ability to be and feel calm, especially in the midst of chaos or a stressful environment. Meditation helps create mental clarity. Meditation helps us sleep better. Meditation, quite frankly, helps us with our overall well-being and existence. So if any of these benefits, reducing some things, enhancing some others, sound interesting to you, good news is meditation is a tool that does these, scientifically proven. Keep listening, and I'm going to teach you how. So I know something that I pondered with and actually meditated on over the years is how to take these somewhat complex and abstract ideas and philosophies and practices and how to make them relevant to teenage student athletes, to anyone in general. That this is for any and everybody, but a vast majority of our audience are student athletes. So how is meditation relevant to us? If by now I haven't captured your attention and got you to understand and believe meditation is good for you, here's why it's most relevant to you. Our objective with everything we do, Cool, Calm, Connected, is to access flow state regularly and consistently. Flow state is when we are in the zone, time slows down, when we are extremely confident, we feel limitless, like we can do no wrong, there's no thinking, just reacting and playing. There's no worry, no doubt, no fear. Nothing else in the world exists but what we are doing, where we are doing it, and we feel limitless with our ability to do that task. It is our optimal state of consciousness to perform in any field. Now, in my opinion, the primary ingredient to access flow state is the ability to be present, to be here now, doing what we're doing, wherever we're doing it, whenever we're doing it, with whoever we're doing it with. Being present in this moment over and over and over again. Now, it's also my opinion that is the primary missing link, missing piece to the puzzle for so many student athletes, for so many people in general in today's day and age, is that we are so incessantly distracted by technology in particular, our phones in particular, and social media even more particular than that, that we haven't cultivated this ability, this skill set to focus, direct our attention, and be present. Meditation quite literally is the practice of retraining our ability to focus, direct our attention, be present. It is a muscle. Think of your mind as a muscle, your ability to focus and direct your attention as a muscle, as a skill set. If I want stronger biceps, I get in the gym and I do curls. I create resistance, I contract, and I expand. And every time I do, that's a rep that's making my muscle stronger. It increases its capacity to work. It makes it better. Meditation is simply the practice of noticing, is simply the practice of focusing on something, then noticing when our attention drifts, and bringing our attention back to the focus point. And every time we notice and come back, that is a rep that is making our mental muscle, our ability to focus, direct our attention, and be present just a little bit stronger. So if we want to access flow consistently, we have to strengthen our ability to focus, direct our attention, and be present. If we want to strengthen our ability to focus, be present, and direct our attention, we need a practice. We need an exercise. That's what meditation is. Meditation is our tool, is our practice to strengthen our ability to focus, direct our attention, and be present so that we can access flow more readily, more easily, more accessibly, consistently throughout our day-to-day life. So we can produce our best work in the classroom, on the field, at home, in relationships, enjoying our hobbies. If we can create a high flow lifestyle and access flow more consistently, we will produce better work, become a better version of us, and enjoy our lives more. That's how meditation is relevant to you. If you want to access flow more consistently, we have to strengthen our ability to focus and direct our attention. We will strengthen our ability to focus and direct our attention by practicing meditation. So that's what meditation is and why we're doing it and how I like to talk about it. Now, there are different types. What I've found over the years, especially with myself, is that first there are countless techniques. There are a vast majorities of ways to meditate. Generically speaking, if you can focus on something, you can meditate on it. You know, I've dabbled in so many different styles and techniques over the years. And I kept coming across that phrase, like, if you can focus on it, you can meditate on it. If you can focus on it, you can meditate on it. Tried walking meditations, different active meditations. But what I found for myself, who grew up as an athlete, and in sharing this with a lot of athletes, is that open-endedness, that vagueness, made it challenging and did not create a consistent practice, which did not create results we desired and we're working towards. So having dabbled in all these different techniques and styles, I've landed on a few that I've found are the simplest to practice and also create the desired results, are the most effective. And here are the different styles and techniques. The first one that I believe a lot of people enjoy beginning their meditation journey with is what's called guided meditation. And that's how I began my journey. I used a space called Headspace, an app called Headspace. Headspace, Calm, Insight Timer. I mean, there are countless things out there now that you can use for guided meditations. You can just type it into YouTube and find guided meditations. There will be guided meditations guided by me in our Cool Calm Connected online course. And it's a great way to begin your practice, in my opinion, because here's how it works. You click the button, and either an audio clip or a video begins to play, and it's someone else's voice talking you through the practice. And more often than not, there's a specific intention or meaning or theme to that practice. It could be reduce stress. That being the intention, this person will guide you through your practice speaking about stress the entire time. How it arises, how we experience it, why it's worse in some people than others, things that cause it, how to reduce it. All of these different things about that theme, they're guiding you through to place your focus on. And this is my opinion, because it is someone else's voice that is the focus point. Remember, meditation is having a focus point first, focusing on it, then noticing when your attention and focus drifts and redirecting your focus back to your focus point. Because the focus point is someone else's voice, I found that it's very simple and easier at first to notice when your own mind becomes active, when that voice in your head becomes active, because it's completely different and separate from that person's voice that you're listening to. So guided meditations are a great place to start, because it's very distinct when your focus drifts off of your focus point, the practitioner's voice, and that own voice in your head becomes active. And because there's such a distinct difference, it makes it simpler to notice and come back. I notice my attention is drifted, my mind is active, I'm going to redirect my focus back to this person's voice. So guided meditations, that's what they're about, and that's why I believe they hold value, especially when you're beginning, and why I'll have ones created for you all in our online course. Very common practice, why a lot of people do them. Next is what I like to call focused breathing. Now you can play music, but there is nobody's voice guiding you through this. You set a timer, and your focus point is your breath. For a lot of reasons, it's beneficial to focus on your breath. But for this practice in particular, to keep it tight, it's an easy thing for us to control and focus on. So focused breathing, there's different patterns, different techniques, usually a counting of some sort. And the pattern or technique I like to teach and practice most often is what's called boxed breathing. So you close your eyes, and you're focusing on your breath. Every time you inhale for a count of 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Then you hold for a count of 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And it creates this box. So it's called boxed breathing. Very common meditation practice. And the way that meditation practice works is you are focusing on your breath and the counting. That is your focus point, creating that box or that circle. In, hold, out, hold. In, hold, out, hold. And pretty quickly you realize at some point your mind will become active. That voice in your head will begin to start thinking thoughts. What am I going to have for dinner? Am I doing this right? Oh, shoot, I forgot to do that. Oh, man, I'm excited for this. And your mind becomes active. As all meditation practices, the goal is simple. Notice when the mind becomes active, redirect your focus and attention back to your breath. Notice, come back, notice, come back, notice, come back. And every time you do, that is a rep that is making your ability to focus, direct your attention, and be present just a little bit stronger. The next technique that I believe I practice most often is what I call transcendental meditation. That's like a big fancy word. All it means is that our focus point is a word, a phrase, a sentence, a mantra, an affirmation that we are playing on repeat in our heads, and that is our focus point. So affirmations, I am statements that something is already so. I am capable, I am powerful, I am confident. These are things that I want to believe about myself. So I sit down, focus on my breath, and I'm playing these affirmations in my head over and over and over again. I am capable, I am powerful, I am confident. I am capable, I am powerful, I am confident. And producing those thoughts, those words, is my focus point. Again, now it becomes pretty simple to realize when that voice in your head starts thinking something other than I am capable, I am powerful, I am confident. And you come right back to, oh, I notice that I am not focused on the focus point anymore. Notice it non-judgmentally, non-analytically, redirect focus back to the focus point and come right back to it. And every time you do, it's a rep that's making your ability to focus, be present, direct your attention just a little bit stronger. There's one more primary benefit of meditation, what it creates for us, and a reason why we want to do it that I haven't touched on yet, that I want to make sure I discuss and hone in on, is what meditation also does for us is it creates space between any stimulus and our response. For a lot of us that are disconnected from ourselves, that we don't have any control over our thought patterns, we don't have any control over our emotions, which is how I think a lot of people operate, why they would benefit from meditating. Something happens and they react instinctively. It's an instinctual emotional explosion that they don't have any control of. They just kind of lash out. And I see it day in and day out. People just driving through a parking lot and somebody just doing something that made their maneuver a little less convenient, and they start mother effing and throwing the finger, and it's wild out there. That's someone who has zero control over what's going on in here and in here. Something happens and they explode. Now, a lot of us aren't exploding, but we are not intentionally controlling how we're perceiving a situation and how we're choosing to respond to it. So what meditation does is it creates space between any stimulus and our response. And in that space lies our superpower, our power to choose, our power to choose how we are going to perceive this circumstance, our power to choose how we want to think about it, our power to choose how we're going to let it, allow ourselves to let ourselves feel, allow us to choose how to speak to get what I want moving forward, given this current circumstance. In this space, in this gap lies our power to choose. And every time we notice and come back, we are elongating that space. If I notice quickly, boom, and come back, I just made the space longer. I notice, come back, space longer. Notice, come back, space is a little bit longer. And the more space you have there, the more you empower yourself to think, speak, act, and behave in alignment with who it is you say you are, who it is you want to become, how it is you want to live, and what it is you want to achieve. It just gives you power to make decisions, to move forward in a way that is most in alignment with what it is that you want. Notice, come back, extend the gap, strengthen your superpower, your power to choose. Choose your thoughts, choose your words, choose your actions. And that's how we quite literally create the reality that we want. So now a little bit on how to practice, okay? Anyone listening, I hope you can by now understand that meditation is very good for us. It is a tool we can use to become the best version of ourselves and access flow consistently. So here are some tips and some tricks on how to get started if you want to get started. First is our posture. Okay, I do believe sitting is the best way to get started. Can you do walking meditation? Yes. Can you do archery and meditate on the arrows? Yes. Can you do these active meditations? Yes. They exist. But I really believe in the power of stillness. We are so active in our everyday lives that creating some space to remain still is very, very powerful for us. So first is how we sit. You can sit in a chair, on the edge of your bed, on a bench. What I'd suggest is that you get your feet flat in the ground. Feel your feet where you are. Next, I recommend you pull your shoulders down and back and get your spine straight. We are literally putting our posture into alignment. When we talk about energy flowing, right? Energy is flowing either from above through or from below up and through. And the more alignment our joints and our body is, the better that energy can flow. And another thing meditation will do for us is help us connect to the highest version of ourselves. Just by creating stillness and silence, it'll allow our inner wisdom to speak. If I'm all constricted and I have poor posture, energy is not flowing. So we want our feet flat in the ground, spine straight, shoulders down and back, chin up, to put our body in its most neutral, natural, aligned position to allow energy to flow and allow our inner wisdom to express itself. And by being still, it also quiets the mind. If we are moving, if our body's moving, overactive. If we are still, it helps to quiet the mind. So we have our feet flat in the ground, spine straight, shoulders down and back. Now we pick a focus point. I would suggest you begin by focusing on your breath, doing box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, in for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, hold for 4. And that is your pattern. And the practice is this simple. Focus on your breath. Notice when your attention drifts and your mind becomes active. Bring your attention back to your breath. Notice, come back, notice, come back, notice, come back. Every time you do, that is a rep that is making your ability to focus, direct your attention, and be present just a little bit stronger, and it's extending the gap, strengthening your superpower, your power to choose. And what I would suggest is to start small. Set a timer for 30 seconds, 1 minute, and commit to doing it once a week. The ultimate objective with this practice, because it is so powerful, is to practice consistently. Like all things, all practices, it is the accumulation of small actions taken consistently over an extended period of time that will ultimately lead to bigger compounding effects, drastic changes and improvement. When you begin your meditation practice, if you do it once and never do it again, you're not going to notice any differences. You might do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and not instantly notice a difference. But if you consistently practice, I promise you, over time, you'll start to realize that you are creating more space between what's happening around you and how it's impacting you. You'll start to realize more awareness of how your mind is behaving. You'll start to realize that you are not ruminating in negative thought patterns. You're noticing them and then deciding to think something else instead. It'll be these small, subtle changes at first that it'll become to be aware of. But if you start small, make it a habit, and practice consistently over time, practicing for the sake of practicing, not to get good at it or receive any benefits, eventually over time, you will notice that you are changing. You are evolving. You are operating differently. You're thinking differently. You're speaking differently. You're perceiving differently. You're behaving differently. All from the consistent practice. So the goal is consistency over an extended period of time. Best way to do that, start small. If you want to start a meditation practice, commit to doing it once this week for 30 seconds. Once you do that, then decide how you want to move forward. Commit to 1 day at a time, a small amount of time, over time. And as you start to get more comfortable and create the habit of sitting down to do the practice, extend the time, commit to doing it again. Extend the time, commit to doing it again. Commit to 1 day over and over. Commit to another 30 seconds over and over. If you start to get to this point in time, say you get to 5 minutes, and you're starting to notice your body's hurting and it's just becoming a little bit more challenging, stay there for a while. Stay at 5 minutes. This is not something that you want to go from 0 to 100 like that, because all that will do is make you not want to do it anymore. And if you're not practicing consistently, you will not receive the benefits in the long run. So, feet flat in the ground, spine straight, shoulders down and back. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Notice when your attention drifts. Bring your attention back to your breath. Start small. Commit one day at a time. Commit a few extra seconds at a time. Start the habit. Build it consistently over an extended period of time. You'll notice that you're becoming a better version of you. You are more present. You're accessing flow more readily and consistently. And you're enjoying your life more because you're actually where you are doing what you're doing rather than thinking about what's going to happen next, what happened previously. Am I going to post this? I want to record this. You are here now in the present moment, locked in, tapped into the flow, enjoying your life to the fullest because of your consistent practice over an extended period of time. So that's today's episode on meditation. I'm flowing right now. I am locked in. Words are flowing out. It feels fantastic. I'm excited to continue my day in this optimal state. Again, the objective of Cool Calm Connected, the entire project, this podcast included, is to make a massive impact for the betterment of our world, of every human being that shares this earth with us. To get this out to more people, to create more of an impact, to help more people, I'm asking for your help and assistance in doing so. If you find that the content being shared on this podcast is beneficial to you and you think it will be beneficial to others, please do me a favor, comment in the comment section, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the page. All of these things are going to help juice the algorithm and get it into more people's eyes. And on social media, sharing any reels and clips, anything you see Cool Calm Connected related, please engage with it. Like, share, comment, save, all of the things you can do on a post. If it helps you, engage with it so it can help more people. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Highly suggest you dive into a meditation practice. Anything I can do to support you guys, please never hesitate to reach out. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind to one another.